This NFL Picks Week 7 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
I hate to do it to you, Sean.
What is it?
Something about this card just wasn't tickling me the right way.
What do you mean?
I just got a lot of stuff to focus on this week in the NFL, and I think a lot of these games were kind of point and shoot. That's all.
Okay,
It's not a negative thing.
What do you mean point and shoot?
Not a complicated handicap.
Oh, okay.
Seeing the board pretty well. Come on.
Are you gonna
set your ass up?
But I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand what bit you're doing, Ryan. Sorry.
I understand. It's complicated. I have a lot. The playbook's very deep here at SGPN.
Ryan, of course, apologies to the chat. Started a little late. Ryan wanted to catch the end of that Lynx thriller. I know Ryan, big WNBA handicapper.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to apologize. Turns out Caitlin Clark, decent at basketball. Still not an elite athlete. Also learned today, Sean, that Angel Reese can't even pay her $8,000 a month rent with her WNBA salary.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, can you imagine?
So what is she? Oh my God. What is she doing then?
I'm so glad I didn't win that Angel Reese signed jersey. I don't like that attitude.
We got a full slate of NFL picks. Ryan, you mentioned NBA or WNBA, NBA season tipping off. NBA Gambling Podcast running a sweet contest. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/NBA contest. Get in over there. Winner gets $250 in SGPN gift card. Get you some sweet merch. And of course, every Monday, 15% off all the gear in the store. Promo code Monday. So check that out. Bunch of good gear. The sweatpants, the gray sweatpants with the zippers. Love those things. Super comfortable. Get you some of those. And yeah, a bunch of great shirts in the merch store right now. Really just awesome time for sports in general. 55 straight days of football, college, pro. It's just awesome. It's an awesome time to be a sports fan. It's an awesome time to be a gambler. Kramer, before we flip the lights on here and hit record, we were talking about what an insane week the public had. I can't remember a time, and I think looking at the numbers we picked it at, the only dog I think for our sheet that won outright was the Indianapolis Colts, and the only two teams that covered were the Colts and the Browns. I cannot remember a time where only 2 out of 14 teams that were dogs covered. Crazy.
That's crazy. I believe we even discussed it. It was a heavy public side week, and I was like, there's a lot of public sides, which I did not ride with. Those public sides, Sean, the only public side to be wrong was Washington. 9-1. So yeah, I mean, I think,
and even that, depending on what you bet, that Washington was probably a push.
Could have gone a push.
Yeah.
and which always leads to just the most hilarious, like, oh, the sports books are having the worst day in 17 years.
Who are these people sticking up for the sports books?
That's like, I get it. Some people cover gambling; it's their job. They got to call these guys, and it's like they have a canned bellyache in response. Anytime the players have a little bit of good fortune.
Yes.
Although, in fairness, we are sharp, so we didn't have good fortune.
I feel like I am. Inevitably, I feel like I end up rooting for the sportsbook because I often need
we are the
same teams that the sportsbook needs. A question in the chat: do the sweatpants come with a hog? Yes, hog included on this SGPN sweatpants.
Can we get back to the sweatpants real quick? Why is it important to have zippers on the sweat? A couple people have asked me. This is not a joke, not a drill. Sean goes out of his way to mention the zippers on the sweatpants.
Why does no one ever ask me? You're like, are people scared to DM me or approach me?
We've had this conversation before. I think yes is the short answer. I think there's a lot of reasons.
But why? If I heard us talking about sweatpants and I went out of my way to mention zippers, and the listener, I would DM me.
There are so many
to
reasons
ask a direct question.
It's hilarious because just.
But
so
I do like that. I do like that you're my filter between some of the tough questions the audience are scared to ask me.
It's fun. Well, a lot of times it's just cousin mush. So about maybe 1 out of 5 times when I'm representing someone, it's probably
someone in the audience.
But what's really funny about
cousin Mush
is that, and a lot of times it's the mysterious person who texts my phone because they have my phone number from that one incident that one time. But it's funny because I don't check the DMs and the messages nearly as much as Sean. So it probably would be more efficient just to go to Sean directly. You're getting my Saturday morning flight back from Vegas, checking the old DM spam filter.
Yeah, to me, sweatpants, amazing, love them, especially the ones in our store. Jake Hayquin, a merch god, check it in. They're awesome, and Jake pointed out zippers are a must. To me, it's so easy, especially with the cell phone. You get that slick. That slick cover on it. I spend a lot of Saturday and Sunday sitting on a couch, sitting on a Southwest plane, and it's very easy for something on these other sweatpants for something to slide out. Or you have a wad of cash, that's easy to slide out. I have one of those like Ridge metal wallets. I don't even know the name of it, but those wallets are awesome. But if you're wearing sweatpants, they can slide out a little bit. So I like having the safety, the security of a zipper, especially if I got a bunch of tickets in there that are winners, Ryan. I don't want those things sliding out. That could be, I could be carrying around a decent amount of, a little walking around money, and I don't want that sliding out. So I like the safety, knowing the zipper secure. We're good to go.
Also, if you do need to go to a strip club, it's important to have the zipper. I mean, you don't want to drop something on the floor in a strip club. Your nice.
Oh man, could you imagine
nice slick phone cover is going to get sticky in a hurry.
Calling the next day, or your wife is like, "Hey, yeah, where'd you leave your phone? I'll just turn on the. No, don't do it. No, those things are horribly inaccurate. Keep saying I'm at Sapphires. No,
don't use that. It will kill the battery on the phone. I have to find another way.
Yes. So,
anyway, back to football.
Yeah. Back to football. Do we do something crazy because favorites went so well? Do we lean towards dogs? Do we just, in some ways it felt like.
Are you trolling right now?
No. I'm kind of just talking. If something's close, are you going to lean more towards the dog because of how good the favorites were? In general, I like to lean dog as a good tiebreaker. And it felt like dogs are doing so well. That was almost like all the regression happened in 1 week.
Can I tell you, when you started saying that, it made me laugh because, of course, a friend of the program, Jared, always posts a serious like, "Hey, there's no such thing as a team being due."
Yeah,
and so, I think 100%. I think that what you have to realize is people will the masses will do this for you. And so in theory, it's not necessarily are we betting all the dogs, but I do think that maybe some of the dog prices will be a little shorter than we expected. That would be my thought. Although I will say after diving into the board. I don't necessarily know if that's true. So back to your original point, maybe we do look to Zach. I mean, it's another week where there's a lot of sides where you have a 70-30 split on the handle or bigger. So
there's a couple road favorites I like, but I feel pretty good with those. But there's like a home dog I'm looking at, and then in the back of my head, I thought home dogs got destroyed. But I think you really have to put that aside and just look at it as a clean slate every week. It's like a roulette machine. It doesn't have any memory. Now it's not exactly the comparison because it is a fluid market.
Yeah, I was going to say I actually would disagree with that point. It has a memory in the sense that what happened last week is clearly affecting this week.
You think it's had an impact on the prices?
I mean, that's why I like putting the look ahead numbers in the sheet. It gives you a good little, a basic representation of like, okay, did something happen to cause this movement or not? And yeah, I think in some cases it could be this type of like, hey, everyone had a really good week. Although I would also argue that those people, their money's not entering the market yet, probably. Right? I mean, if the guys that went 6 for 6 on their round robins this past weekend, betting all the favorites, they probably did not get down on their action on Tuesday.
Yeah, Pat saying, why am I just peeping the dog with the goggles? That's not just a dog. That is Spuds McKenzie, the ultimate party dog. Maybe you're a younger viewer listener. You don't remember the time back in the 80s when beer commercials were just about a party dog named Spuds who by the commercials certainly implying that Spuds got laid with all these chicks because they both love Bud Light. And he's wearing the goggles because he's in the lab, the rhythm lab. So shout out to Spuds, keeping us fresh, keeping the party going.
Favorite position? Oddly missionary.
It's a good line, right?
Thank you. The chat's going.
Spuds only missionary.
The chat is getting into a conversation about fanny packs.
Oh, okay.
Or Merce, or now I guess because meatheads and guys who go to the gym like to use them. I guess they're now acceptable again.
Well, they got popular because of pro wrestlers.
Is that who?
Yeah, pro wrestlers.
Why pro wrestlers?
I don't know, but I remember when I met The Rock, he was wearing a fanny pack. Brian, this was back in. I'll take you back to 1999.
Wow,
Allentown Fairgrounds.
They might have just been cool back then.
What's up?
They might have just been cool back then.
I don't recall. I don't think they were cool, but it was like a wrestler thing. And I somehow snuck backstage and I saw The Rock. I go, hey, Rock, you're the man. And I go, hey, Rock, I also go to Freedom High School because I knew Rock. Wow. The Rock graduated from our high school. And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, while you're there, lay the smack down. Oh. And then I did this, Ryan. I go, I smell what you're cooking. And The Rock laughed. And then I walked away, or I was escorted out. I
basically
don't recall
had sex with The Rock.
It was, I mean, I'm sure if you're, and I was like a wrestling fan for 6 months and then immediately gave it up. But The Rock was super cool.
So what's the take on fanny packs? Because we do see it a lot at the sports book now. Very common for men to have their purse.
Yeah, I'm out on it.
Yeah, it's wild because I do think it's partly because guys who are really jacked use them, and so no one's gonna tell them that's stupid.
Yeah, it's not any to me. And Ryan, I have a football briefcase.
Yeah,
we have one. To me, it's that, a backpack, maybe a satchel on the side, but if it looks like a purse, feels like a purse, it's not for me.
Yeah. If it's something you just aimlessly throw shit in and then have to dig through to find it.
Yeah. No, these the backpacks we got are great because there's a ton of storage containers. You can put all different kinds of things in them. All right, Ryan, let's do it. Let's get to the picks. We got a bunch of what do we got? 14 games or
please, Sean, 15 games.
Hell yeah, let's go.
And a configuration I don't know if we've ever seen in the history of the NFL, Sean, because we have
two Monday
early
nights.
Game on Sunday, aka a London game, and we have 2 Monday night games, but not in the traditional let's bend over for the East Coast. This is a West Coast biased Monday night action. First game starts at 5:15 normal hours. So we circle all the way back around to Thursday night football, Sean, where we were talking about this last week. It's the Sean Payton revenge game.
Oh yeah.
The Broncos here on the road, -2.5, -152 on the money line, +128 for the Saints. 36.5 is the total. I mean, there are some threes out there too. So certainly, depending on what side you like, shop around.
Yeah, because I saw some like -3s, even money. I bet this on BetUS earlier, and it was like -1 with, but like crazy juice. It was either -1, -125, or something like that.
I was digging through some data of the like, is it better to lay the 2.5 with a -120, 125, like a juiced up price, or taking the even money with -3? I mean, what would you rather do preference wise?
Me, I like that 2.5. You feel like, oh, field goal game, you still get the win, but I'm sure long term you're probably better off laying the 3, getting even money, right?
So if every time I'm betting 100, I'm laying the extra 25 to lay the 2.5. You do have to win at a pretty ridiculous clip versus the 3, which you will, but 3 being less key than it used to. I think I'd almost take the -3 even money.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't bet to win strange amounts of change, it saves me a couple bucks. Anyway, Bo Nix laying points on the road. We have to start there.
Yeah. To me, that is the only reason you wouldn't be betting on the Denver Broncos. And yeah, it makes sense. To me, there's just so many good spots for this Broncos team. One, Sean Payton versus Dennis Allen. Love Sean Payton in that spot. I think that is actually a legit coaching advantage. Dennis Allen, he's been bad in prime time. He's been bad on short rest. 1-10 straight up on short rest.
Not a good coach.
Saints are, he's not a good coach. Let's just start there.
And Sean Payton's his daddy.
Spencer Rattler. Now, Bo Nix is a rookie, right? So some of the stuff also applies to Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler making the second start on a short week against an incredibly good defense
with a bunch of missing pieces.
Yeah, and just look at the injury. Chris Olave out, Rashid Shaheed out, Taysom Hill doubtful. I mean, Ryan, you showed me that sheet of the 11 guys that were on the opening day Saints roster. I think there's 4 guys that are going to be out there this Thursday night. And look on the other side. We hit on it during the Thursday night prop show. The Saints defense is just in a bad spot. They look really, really rough. And yeah, it's a Payton revenge game, and just situationally, this is a 3rd game in 11 days for this Saints team. They played a tough ass Monday night game in Kansas City. Then they had a shootout against the Tampa Bay Bucs where they ended up getting their ass kicked. They were probably close to being a close your eyes special, probably right on that edge. But ultimately, I think, and you could talk yourself into Saints got embarrassed against the Bucs, and maybe they get up for this. I just don't think they have the talent. I don't think they're healthy enough. The 3 game in 11 days makes it the guys that are out there are going to be dog tired, and just this Broncos defense is going to be the best unit on the field. And I think Bo Nix is going to be able to throw on the Saints defense. So I'm all in on the Broncos here.
Yeah. What you're referring to is the Saints offense week 1 depth chart. All that's left from it are the 2 tackles, Fuaga and Penning, Foster Moreau, Alvin Kamara, and the fullback Adam Prentice. So it sometimes there's just games where one team is just too hurt, and we're not laying. Even if you're laying 3 here, I think the Denver is the side. I think this could be a complete lay down game for New Orleans.
OG Fat Panda wanting to know, would you use Denver in Survivor? I mean, I would, but I'm a maniac, so I don't know if
probably not. Probably not.
It's certainly a fun spot. I mean, if you look at some of the other favorites, I could see talking yourself into playing them. Certainly.
Yeah. I mean, but probably have better choices. I would assume you'll have better choices. And
fade the public saying 9-6 final. I don't know. I could see this game if the Broncos get a lead. I could see it kind of being similar to the Chargers Broncos game last week, where the Chargers got out to a 23-0 lead, kind of sat in some soft coverages, and then ultimately, the Broncos chipped away, made it a 7-point game. They never really were in that game. I mean, the total is sitting at what? 36.5. I would actually go over, because I think they're going to be able to throw the ball on the Saints, and I don't think Peyton is really going to want to take the foot off the gas. So I would look to the over here, but I'm not a totals guy. Kramer, are you officially on the Broncos? Like, to me, the only reason you take the Saints are market handicap, but I don't even know if the public is all in on the Broncos.
Well, I mean, this number in the summer was Denver. I'm not even going to say that number. New Orleans was -1 on the look ahead.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's a decent move.
Not much has changed since that.
I think.
Fairness,
I think some of the injuries. I think Olave.
Sure.
I think I think the injuries are probably a part of it. It's not. I mean, Denver's coming off a loss, so
yeah. I mean, and I was just double checking because Denver also should. I mean, they have, I believe, and by the way, the sheet now has some sick ass DVOA.
Oh yeah,
in there if you're into that kind of. All right, yeah. The Saints have the #1 adjusted sack rate for their offensive line, and they have #2 for their defensive line. So yeah, I mean that to me right there is that's the difference in the game. So yep, I guess we're taking Denver. Bo Nix on the road Thursday night. That just.
But Bo Nix is undefeated ATS.
Yeah. I understand. This is my instincts tell me not to do this. All right, let's hop it over to London, where we are new, same team, new stadium. The Jags will be. I have no idea where this is relative to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but they're heading over to Wembley. Which we've seen before. We've seen some of the most gloriously bad grass slippage games over in the Wembley Stadium, if my memory serves me right. And if I'm not, I also believe Eli once had the longest run of his career on this field. Patriots are catching 5.5 against the London Jags, +190 on the money line. 42.5 is the total. All right, so we've been liking this spot basically since before the season because they're here all week. They have not fired Doug Peterson and forced him to go home while the whole team gets to stay in London. This is certainly a game that I first thought was like, oh yeah, no brainer, Jags are the play. But then I look, and interesting nugget with the line in this one. The look ahead was 6. It opened way short of that and got bet right back up to 6. I don't know what to think here because the Jags are just a complete trash organization.
Yeah.
The God does hate Jags.
Oh, he hates them.
But this New England team traveling late in the week, rookie quarterback making his second start.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams obviously got home and shook off that rookie quarterback in London angle, but I still think that could apply to this game. Drake May. Now there's some rumors. Only one guy is reporting it so far. We'll see if it holds up. But that Drake May got an MRI for his knee. Now, not multiple outlets are reporting it. We'll see if there's any credibility to that. But if you have a knee issue and you're going overseas, same way I wanted to fade the shit out of Aaron Rodgers because he was banged up. And you could say you're fine, but if you're dealing with a knee issue and you take an 8-hour flight, it's going to suck.
Swell a little bit.
And just the fact that the Jags have a massive advantage, they've been there for an entire week. Whatever sort of win one for Doug, they can pull off. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to throw on this Pats defense. Now again, the Jags look really bad. That's why it doesn't feel great laying 5.5. But man, the Pats offensive line is banged up. I think Trayvon Walker and some of those defensive line studs for Jacksonville could get to Drake May. Now again, Drake May could run around. I do like his, assuming his knee's all right. We'll figure it out on the prop show, but I could see myself getting down to some Drake May rushing props. I think like the public is actually probably backing the Pats, as gross as it is. And yeah, rookie quarterbacks haven't done well in London. So I think I'm going to lay the points with the Jags here, as insane as that sounds.
I mean, yeah, I think, do we have to? Are we sure we have to do this? Trevor Lawrence has not won a game in a long time. Or sorry, he's won 1 game out of his last 10. Are you sure? Or are you positive?
Yeah, I like the situation spot. Because you can do whatever you want, Ryan.
Because the other side of this is that, and I came into this by way of Pop Douglas. Pop Douglas absolutely shredded man coverage last week. 11 catches on 11 targets. I'm pretty sure the Jags play the same type of coverage. Drake May, we saw the legs already. The Jags have given up 28 carries for 170 yards, 6 yards a carry to the quarterback.
Favorites in general have been great in London. I'm going to lean on that. And yeah, I think being out there for a week is a massive advantage.
We made this play last week.
Yeah. In the same way when the NFL schedule came out and I saw Lions at the Cowboys, just fucking hammer that. Whatever the prices get down on it. This was another one. Jags in the back-to-back spot. This is the last win in the Doug Peterson era.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And yeah, that Pop Douglas, 11 targets, 11 receptions, 116 yards against man last week. That's pretty nice. All right, let's hop over to Sunday. Sean, we got 7 games in the early window, only 3 in the late window. I don't know what they're doing to us, giving us that 3-legged stool. First game, the Seattle Seahawks coming off Thursday night football. They head down to Atlanta, take on the Falcons. Falcons laying 3, minus 154 in the money line, plus 130 for the Seahawks. 51.5 is the total. Pretty high total there. And Atlanta looks to be a public side, catching over 70% of the bets right now. I got to be honest, Sean. I really tried to find a way to be like, get your Falcons bias out of here. Get it out of here. How are we going to find a way to bet on the Falcons this week? And you know what I figured out?
What?
I think Geno might cook this week.
No, it is. This is so annoying because Seahawks and Falcons are 2 teams I've been fading. Good results so far with the Seahawks, at least past few weeks. Bad results for the Falcons. And I told myself, don't fade the Falcons again. But then you look at the rushing matchup, Ryan. How do the Seahawks win games? If you get Kenneth Walker 10 or more carries, that's an incredibly strong trend. And they're coming off that long rest. And I think you can. I mean, Chuba Hubbard ran for 92 yards. Like, this feels like an awesome smash spot for Kenneth Walker. The problem is Seattle's defense has been really bad. The Justin Simmons, the Falcons safety, he didn't practice. That could be an issue. But really, Ryan, why have I been fading the Seattle Seahawks? Because
they sucked at times.
Well, because their offensive line is struggling to protect against the pass rush, and teams with the pass rush, a la the Giants, the 49ers, can pressure Geno into mistakes and cause problems. The problem is the Falcons, they still can't get a pass rush. And I realized that was part of my logic when I took the Panthers, but Andy Dalton shit the bed himself. Like, the interceptions he threw were like completely unprovoked. And I think Seattle's receivers are going to be able to get stuff against this Falcons defense, especially with Simmons if he's not 100% or if he's out. I just love the Seahawks if they can run the ball on a team.
The other thing that I stumbled into is that Geno is a good, especially since joining the Seattle. He's a good dome quarterback.
Yes.
Don't say this to Colby. He's completed 73% of his pass attempts for 2,000 yards. I mean, so basically he's going to go for 250 in this game. Again, I worry a little bit that in a shootout atmosphere, Atlanta could still take care of this game. But
no, what's going to happen is Atlanta's going to somehow win this game, and I'm going to be pissed that I believed in the Seahawks. It is a long travel spot, but I imagine that those couple extra days. Well, what do you think about? What do you think about Mike McDonald, Ryan, versus this Falcons scheme?
We've seen. I guess this is where I would say that when the Giants played the Seahawks, I was not that impressed. But they were banged up on the defensive line. They're still kind of banged up on the defensive line, and I do think Atlanta getting loose with the running game is definitely the way that they end up taking care of this one. But I think it's going to turn into a shootout, and I'm taking Geno Smith over Kirk Cousins. Again, if you got someone in a time machine from 10 years, or you got someone who just got frozen 10 years ago, and he woke up and, even 5 years ago, you got Geno Smith running around, you got Joe Flacco still running around, you got Andy Dalton running around. Yeah, I'm taking Geno Smith. Fuck it.
Taking Geno Smith. Fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. Give me Geno Smith. God, that's not gonna feel great on Sunday. But
No,
you know what? I do the Kenneth Walker angle to me, right? You know what? Yeah. The more we think about it, remember how awesome they looked offensively against the Lions in that game last year, where it was just like a crazy, and even this year, I just don't think that like Seattle can move the ball against dome teams that have a defense like this. So yeah, the more I think about it, you're right. Seahawks is the play +3. Shout out to Matt Gannon, Ryan. We're gonna probably be hanging out with Matt Gannon tomorrow, or sorry, Friday night. He's gonna be out in Vegas. I'm sure he's staying at the D. We're over at the Circa. Come say what's up. Again, anytime you're out in Vegas, Friday nights our show ends at 11 p.m. local time. We're always hanging around, having some cocktails. Maybe played a little craps last time. Some NFL slot machine. Getting drunk with Derek. Those are like the three big things. Blackjack. Yeah.
Hopefully not with mops who can't count cards. Game number 2 on Sunday. We got Tennessee and Buffalo. Bills back to looking pretty good in their division. They're laying 8.5 here. I've seen some 9s out there now, Sean. Even some 9.5s in faraway places that like to prevent people from having fun teasers.
Real quick, Ryan. Seattle 15th in rush defensive DVOA. Atlanta 24th. I think ultimately it's going to come down to who can slow down the run a little bit. And yeah, all right.
Yeah, I think in general that is also my concern with that game, though. But I'm with you. I'm taking the points. Atlanta public side too. That had nothing to do with my determination.
Ryan, before you get to the next game, let's shout out BetUS, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. I'm looking at my crypto balance and it just shot up because I got a nice withdrawal from BetUS. Very easy to work with. Great customer service. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Use that promo code SGPN. That link should automatically add it in, but in case it doesn't, make sure you get it in there so we know, so they know we sent you. You get 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Hit a nice Joey Burrow first touchdown over on BetUS. It's America's favorite sportsbook. 30+ years in business, so you know they're a legit operation. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS.
All right. Sorry, I was just looking at some meme coins. You were talking about your crypto wallet. You reminded me about some sweet meme coins. I was trading earlier today.
T Mathis meme coin.
Boy, be careful, kids. DYOR, as the kids say. All right, what game are we on? Well, we were about to talk about the Buffalo Bills, Tennessee Titans. New Josh Allen and old Josh Allen. I don't think Will Levis will ever be Josh Allen. Titans are catching 8.5 +360 on the money line. 41.5 is the total. Bills are off Monday nights, a little bit short rest, but they are the publics. The very scary public sides of this week are included. The Buffalo Bills included in there. I don't know what you're supposed to do here other than tell people it's a great teaser leg to get the Bills down to 2.5.
I mean, it seems like there's been no announcement that Will Levis is not the starter. Do you think he starts, Ryan?
How much of this is Will Levis and how much of this is the offense?
I don't know. I mean, certainly Mason Rudolph came in and looked way more competent. Now that was a weird situation.
Yes,
it was going up against this Dolphins defense that I don't seriously believe in. It's hilarious. I just Googled Will Levis starter on Twitter to see if there's been any news, and the thing that came up was him first one in, a photo of his car, training camp day 1 from July 23rd.
That's
where the love affair began.
That didn't age well. I think Will Levis is just, he just doesn't make smart decisions.
Yeah.
His EPA per drop back is only worse. And it could be EPA per play, but it's only worse than Deshaun Watson.
Well, this is the thing. Like,
they're only better than Deshaun.
The Titans have a really good defense. Like, they're one of the better defenses in the league, but you wouldn't know it because they can never win games. At least the special teams haven't been costing them, punt block situations. I mean, this is an interesting spot because it's a very easy look past spot for the Bills, right? Like, oh, hey, Amari Cooper's coming. We can look past this Titans team. They're on a short week. They're big favorites.
You've brought this up before. The Bills play bully ball though.
Yeah, but you can't run on the Titans. I think it's tough to bully a team like the Titans.
I don't mean it like that. I mean they take care of bad teams typically.
But they haven't been good. They haven't been good as big favorites in the Josh Allen era. Now, so far, yeah, they did. They destroyed the Jaguars. They destroyed the Cardinals at home. Will Levis, ironically, has been very good in the first half, 9-5 in the first half ATS. Second half, he's 2-12.
Are you suggesting we should have a first half Titans?
I might, yeah. First half Titans money line. No. Titans held the Colts to 189 yards in the air, 80 yards on the ground. I think they can ugly this game up, but I don't know. I don't know what they can do offensively. Is obviously the big issue with this Titans team. 8.5 is a ton, Ryan. Do you feel good being on the public side here, laying 8.5?
No, okay. No. Are we doing it again? You're going to do it one more time? Take the Bills. I mean, take the Titans one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not as favorites, but 8.5 points with how good that defense is.
We didn't even mention.
We may need the audience to step in. Audience, feel free to chime in. There's 6 in defensive EPA per play.
No, I mean the reason you like him in this spot is you're getting a big number on a team
with a good defense
that is going to play. Both teams will play some good defense. Now, I have no idea how Tennessee is going to score points. No idea. Do you have an idea of how they're going to score points in this game?
Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other ideas?
No, that's my main idea.
But Josh Allen
Calvin
doing
Ridley
Josh Allen
finally gets loose. Yeah, Josh Allen's on a crazy streak of not throwing interceptions, aka he's due.
I don't know. Actually, you know what? Give me the Bills.
All right, I'll take the Bills.
We got to stop doing this. we said last.
I got to commit to some of my. I'm not doing this again, and one of it's talking myself into the Titans.
But I really like it as a teaser. Really
Bills
like it as a teaser. In fact, you can just put Buffalo -2.5 in the teaser right now, Sean. All right, little AFC North battle here. Game number 3 in the early window. Cincinnati heads to Cleveland, where the Bengals are laying 5.5 on the road, -260 on the money line. No one is betting on the Cleveland Browns. That's not surprising. They just traded away Amari Cooper to the Bills, who we're lamenting over taking over the hapless Tennessee Titans. Browns are +215 on the money line. 41.5 is the total. Back-to-back road spot for the Bengals here. I was not overly impressed with this Bengals team watching them play the Giants very up close and personal. Daniel Jones played a very bad game. The offense left a lot on the table, and there was a garbage touchdown that the defense essentially let them have at the end of the game. How can they possibly be laying this many points in a divisional game? I know Deshaun Watson's the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean it really is.
I'm not touching Deshaun Watson.
It is what is driving this, right? And everyone remembers, oh yeah, Bengals got home Sunday night against the Bills. But to your point, I mean, I guess
slip there. I like that.
What did I say?
The Bengals and the Bills.
Oh, Bengals,
the Giants.
Yeah, Giants. I thought Trey Hendrickson did a pretty good job. Like their defense. Now, obviously, Giants don't have a great offense, but their defense, which had been such a liability. There was a team meeting going into that week. Defense was like, "Hey, we fucked up. We got to play better," and they did. I thought it was one of their better defensive efforts, certainly against an inferior opponent. But they need some of that defensive momentum if they're going to hang around against Cleveland. Now, Nick Chubb looks to be back in this game. I know the locker room's super excited. If you saw the clip of everyone like cheering on Nick Chubb and he's coming back and maybe they can pound the rock. Deshaun Watson, obviously he's super horrible, but he completed a few passes.
The last time the Bengals beat the Browns in Cleveland, was the 0-16 season.
It's insane. And Joe Burrow has been horrible. Obviously in Cleveland, he hasn't won. I think he's 0-4, but I know he's 1-5 total against the Browns, and it's just been bad, man. Like he's 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I guess that's all right, but like you watch the game and it's a bit of the struggle when Burrow's out there.
2018.
Myles Garrett always feasts against the Cincinnati Bengals. That's something you can rely on.
I mean, they've won 6 straight at home against the Bengals.
Must vibe in the chat saying Browns find a way to win these games at home. As a Bengals fan, I'm worried. Yeah, this is. I think you gotta. God damn it! I think you have to take the Browns here, Ryan.
Yeah, you do. I told you this board. It's pretty.
Well,
easy.
it's
pretty easy board.
It's the ultimate flow chart game, right? And I just think Myles Garrett, who blocked that field goal, they returned it for a touchdown. But
Nick Chubb being back is a big deal.
Yeah, and maybe it'll help with their third down percentage. There was a moment where the Commanders had converted more fourth downs than the Browns had third downs in the NFL season. They're converting at 19.23%.
Do you think?
Here are the 4 games, real quick. Burrow in Cleveland lost 35-30. Lost 21-16, lost 32-13, and lost 24-3. Like,
it's weird.
They know how to play this team, and Stefanski's been there. So
can I tell you what really stood out to me watching the Giants game again, specifically the defense? That they double teamed Jamar Chase on almost every play, and he still tried to throw it to him a lot.
Yeah,
and honestly, if I didn't see what PF who they gave the sacks to. But Joe Burrow just standing there and staring down Jamar Chase was part of the problem with that offense. So I'm blaming Joe Burrow.
Are we Bills Mafia DJ saying, are we worried that trading Amari Cooper was waving the white flag by the Cleveland Browns?
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I can't really make sense of that.
Because why would you do that and then bring back Nick Chubb?
Yeah, or keep starting Deshaun Watson.
So I think it was probably a good trade for the Browns. They have pretty good receiver depth. We'll find out how good Jerry Jeudy is.
I don't think they do have good receiver depth.
I think there's a number of guys that they've taken over the years that we've whether it's Elijah Moore or Cedric Till. They Njoku maybe. This could
be a good Njoku game.
I mean, I definitely don't think they're void of talent. Yeah, I don't know why you trade Cooper unless you're just trying to be a nice guy and give him a chance to win a championship somewhere else. Cleveland plus the points. All right. Houston, maybe the game of the morning. Houston heads to Green Bay, where the Texans on a back-to-back road spot, Sean.
Yeah.
Take on the almighty Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Packers laying 3 here. I know it was at 2.5 for a lot of the week. Minus 144 on the money line. Texans plus 122. We've seen the Texans play down to a lot of their competition, or at least play to their competition, not covering a lot of spreads. Last week was different. Their defense, I think, is a slightly different animal than what Green Bay has seen in a number of the. I also just a simple. That defense against Jordan Love. I saw someone make a comment about how, or it was the coach of the Texans, D'Amico Ryans, made a comment about how Jordan Love has pinpoint accuracy. Couldn't disagree more. And in fact, we saw it against the Eagles when that pressure got there. It was the leaning back off the back foot, chuck the ball up, hope the receiver's there. I mean, we kind of saw this last week, and what did the Texans do when Drake May did that? They intercepted it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Texans situation spot though, this is pretty tough. Back-to-back road spots,
non-conference road game.
Yeah, non-conference road game. Well, just back-to-back road spot where the second leg is Lambeau. Teams are 7-16-1 ATS. So you got a dome team going outdoors against a Green Bay team that probably has a lot of confidence right now. And how do you beat the Texans? You have to be able to slow down the run. Like we've seen the Texans, anytime they've been in trouble is, when you've been able to scheme up run stopping. So Packers are 6th in rush defensive defensive EPA. If you can slow down this Texans running game, you can really put yourself in some advantageous positions. Ryan, the problem is that Texans secondary. If they can get an interception or 2 off Jordan Love, that will swing the game. I think this game comes down to it's extra, and not saying anything mind blowing here, but extremely correlated to Jordan Love not being able to turn the ball over. If he can play a clean game, I think Packers can win and cover this. If not, I think they could be in trouble here. But the Packers they brought in Romeo Doubs. Like they can really spread you out And I think they're going to have some decent offense against this Texans defense.
Yeah, I think I just need to make a mental note to start betting against the teams after they face the Cardinals and look really, really good. And so, yeah,
almost a reverse spot.
Think about how the defense is or the offense is going to look going from maybe the worst defense in the league to one of the best defenses in the league. So, and I think a defense that's capable of confusing Jordan Love.
But to now I see Packer fan Dick Puncher in the chat pointing out Green Bay has had one of the top O lines. So if they can keep him clean, I think they can be all right. I'm going to go, I'm going to fade the non-conference road spot. I'm going to go Packers here -3. You're taking Houston, Ryan?
It's a good matchup. I mean, the fourth adjusted sack rate on defense in Houston against the third in Green Bay. The area
I think ultimately situation spot with the back-to-back road game, home team.
Well, the area where I would push back is that Houston brings a component where they also are going to stuff you on the ground, which is not what the strength of this Packers team has been. They do need the running game though. So I think Houston's ability to stop the run is where the problems begin. And yeah, Dick Puncher, I can only take the Packers 1 week in a row. And I locked them up last week. Get off my back.
You're welcome.
Houston +3. Sean, first disagreement in over a week. Game number 5 in the early slate. Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins could have taken another bye. No one would have cared. Dolphins off the bye. Still
Tyler Huntley is a dog.
Going with Snoop Huntley +3, +136 on the money line. 43.5 is the total. What we mentioned off the bye, that has to be a good thing for a team that was just reeling and needed some time to practice clearly.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we can make a determination on what we're going to do in this game until we know if Anthony Richardson's starting.
I know this Colts team has just been impossible to handicap. Again, they've been super shady with their injury stuff. Joe Flacco, 8 straight games with 2+ touchdown passes. If you told me Joe Flacco was 100% starting on Sunday, I would probably consider locking up the Colts.
Is it Flacco?
Well,
is it Anthony Richardson?
Anthony Richardson's getting a full practice. Fuck. Now the case for the Dolphins is, hey, they're coming off a bye, whatever they can figure out how to do offensively. They got that worked up. They have some plays. Colts defense has been pretty shitty overall. Now, yeah, they did hold Will Levis to 95 passing yards, but that might be a Will Levis thing, Ryan. So
yeah, I would say let's not include that in the handicap.
So you imagine Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Achan going against this Colts defense. And the knock on the Colts is Gus Bradley plays a very predictable scheme. So Mike McDaniel with a couple weeks to prepare, maybe he can drop some stuff that will work for Snoop Huntley. But man, I can't take the Dolphins on the road. They look so piss poor, even against New England. They were very fortunate to get that win. They lost to the Titans. And I think even if AR-15 plays, him being able to run on this Dolphins defense, I think, and who knows if he finishes the game. So I think you have a lot of, to me, just look like working the game theories through my head. There's just so many more ways the Colts figure this out at home than Snoop Huntley on the road. So I'll take Indy laying the 3.
Oh man.
Taking Miami in 3 points feels like it's getting a little cute.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the reason you feel a little safer on the Colts is that Anthony Richardson has left more than half the games he started, and you'll get Joe Flacco.
And also Mike McDaniel, as much as he's been like, oh, this guy's an awesome play caller, he's a mad scientist. Maybe he has done jack shit without Tua. I think in my head, I was remembering like, oh, that Skylar Thompson game, but Skylar Thompson's been dog shit every other time. Snoop Huntley has not looked good. He has not.
He just joined the team. In fairness,
who?
Huntley. Yeah,
but he hasn't. Has he looked good?
Now he's had a lot of time. That's why I'm willing to take him here. That combined with the fact that the Vikings were -4 on the look ahead, or sorry, the Dolphins were -4 on the look ahead. Now they're +3. What's changed since last week, Sean? They were on a bye.
Yeah, your look ahead number that must have been they were planning on Tua playing.
Maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
Is Tua worth 7 points?
Yeah, according to the market, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the
so
market
if Tua
is
was playing. You would lay 4 with the Dolphins in this game?
No, I wouldn't. But the number would be If Tua was starting, the Dolphins would be
maybe.
like 3-point favorites, 100%.
I'll take the Dolphins.
They were hanging the -4 because they didn't want to get cooked.
That's fair.
If Tua started.
That's fair, but I do think that's probably more than what he actually represents. I
agree.
I like Snoop with a couple weeks of preparation here.
Yeah. No, Mike McDaniel, not the offensive genius, just a guy who likes weed.
It's smoking about
Shane Steichen, you can say the same thing. He needs Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, he's made a bunch of other quarterbacks look good.
Just not Anthony Richardson.
Well, he has had some moments.
Just when he chucks it really far down the field. Those are his only good moments.
Yeah.
What other moments has Anthony Richardson had?
I don't know. Anthony Richardson, clearly a work in progress.
His moments are that he can throw the ball really far, just like he did in the combine.
That's awesome.
Whoa, you hit the roof of the building, bro. That's awesome. Game number 6, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. This is a nice little matchup here, Sean. Vikings coming off the bye, and even though the Lions were the favorites on the look ahead, the Vikings are now -1.5, -126 on the money line. Detroit +108. Detroit on a back-to-back road spot. Detroit is the public side, and worth noting, the Vikings are looking ahead to a Thursday night matchup against the Rams.
Great point.
But man, I mean, I think a lot of this is like, do you think the line movement is just based on the fact that Aiden Hutchinson got hurt, which seems silly to me? And then 2, so the debate, is this a good matchup for the Lions offense or a bad matchup for the Lions offense? Go.
I think this is a good matchup for the Lions offense, Ryan, because
I'm kind of with you.
Brian Flores, what does he do really well? He blitzes and is effective at that. But Jared Goff, he's been great against the blitz, completing 70.7% of his passes, 12.1 yards per attempt. And Ryan, I'm gonna quiz you now.
Okay.
Vikings are 5-0 straight up, 5-0 ATS. The 2024 Vikings and what other team? I'll give you a hint. Last 20 years are the lone teams to start a year 5-0 straight up, 5-0 ATS, and 5-0 in the first half ATS in the last 20 years. Who is that other team?
It's either the Ravens or the Eagles.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
2007 Patriots.
Oh wow.
So I think it's worth bringing that up because if you're believing in this Vikings team to get this win, to get this cover, to continue winning in the way that they're doing, then I think honestly, if you think the Vikings win this game, I hope you already got some Vikings to win the Super Bowl, Vikings to win the NFC, because I think like if they get this done against this Lions team, like that's the kind of team we're dealing with here.
Well,
and Sam Darnold,
and the division odds will shift drastically too with this game. So
yeah, I think if you like the Vikings, you should also be betting on the Vikings to win the futures. I mean, Brian Flores with 2 weeks to prepare. I like that, obviously, for the Vikings. There's a lot of reasons to like the Vikings, right? But I would counter this by saying, man, this Detroit team, they do a great job. What do they do a great job of, Ryan? Rallying, coming up in big spots. And we see this all the time, especially in the NFL. You bet on the team, the game after they lose the star player. Everyone rallies around. You don't think Dan Campbell's walking around going, "We need you to step up, motherfuckers," you know, like kicking over shit like, "Oh, Aiden Hutchinson's out. Guess we're going to cancel the season. Oh, guess we should all go home. Oh yeah." Like I think you're going to see an effort out of this defensive side of the football that you haven't seen previously. I think this is a team that's playing together, playing at a high level. And honestly, in the modern era, like the bye week, not necessarily a helpful thing. And let's be honest, Sam Darnold.
Well, they were hot.
Yeah. Early bye weeks are great if you're struggling, if you have issues, if you have injuries. If you're hot, I mean, right. We play blackjack.
So
imagine you're going on an incredible shoe and then it's like, shoe's over.
Time
now
to get up.
10 minutes to reshuffle these cards. You're like, no, deal the cards. I'm hot.
Yeah.
I think especially in the modern NFL, especially the early bye, if you're hot, works against you.
I was also a little surprised by how some of the advanced numbers view the Vikings offense. Not as good as my eye test. And so this is a team that very much has been carried by their defense. And I'm with you. I've read some stuff that would lead the audience to believe that this is a bad matchup for Jared Goff. I kind of disagree. I'm with you. He's done well against the blitz. The run game should be very helpful. And I think something to point out. What's the Aaron Jones status, Sean?
Yeah, he's banged up.
We saw this with the Green Bay Packers. In general, what happens with Aaron Jones's teams when he's not healthy?
They're not quite the same. And Sam Darnold has thrown a pick in 4 out of the last 5 games. And as much, hey, I own a stake in Jared Goff's Sucks Island, so it's in my financial interest not to disclose this information, but I owe it to the audience to point out quarterbacks with 150 plus passer rating in back-to-back starts. Jared Goff has done it in his last 2 starts. Who's the other quarterback that's done it, and what year? I'll just say, guess the quarterback. Super efficient dome quarterback.
It's got to be Drew Brees.
Drew Brees. So we are seeing like Drew Brees. They finally got all the weapons going. Laporta's going to have a hell of a game, and Darnold's coming off a game where he completed 45% of his passes in England. He's quietly not looked amazing. He's used to playing in front. If they get off to a slow start, I think they're going to be chasing. And the Vikings aren't a desperate team for this win. I think the Lions are the ones that are going to be coming out swinging. So I love the Lions here.
This is a huge game too. So from a motivational edge, and I do think that the defensive front, even without Hutchinson, I still think they're going to be able to be a little bit of a menace in the run game and cause. I mean, Darnold just has to make 1 or 2 mistakes, I think, and we should be good because I don't see Detroit getting stopped a ton. Grits
Blitz pointing out lines will also be in let's do this for Hutch mode. Yeah, I mean that's part of the handicap. I'm a situational motivation guy.
I'll bet for Hutch.
Win one for Hutch
this week.
I mean, they were really emotional about that, and this team gets up in situation spots.
The floppy broken leg is never. I mean, now with the internet, people are like putting slow mos of it. These fucking doctors are like, that looks like a broken fibia. It's like, dude, we get it. His leg's broken. You don't need to fucking use big words.
Ryan, hey, let's check in with Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code SGPN. I think we hit last week's. That was pretty sweet. It was, or maybe it was. I'm trying to remember.
I think I hit one that it was not the official one we did on the show, unfortunately.
Definitely have some winners here in the pick'em. Higher or lower with your favorite fantasy projections. This stuff is just. I mean,
what are we thinking?
It's just crack. If crack, you could use crack responsibly, and we encourage you to play responsibly. If you have an issue, of course, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ryan, they got some profit boosts. I'm looking my chops at. What do we like here for a 2-entry underdog? I feel like we get off the tracks when we go a little bonkers. Yes. We've hit on a number of situation spots we like. I'll let you go first. What's a player situation that's jumping out at you?
Is there an angle from the Detroit game we just talked about that you like?
Let's see. I mean, the only problem with that, let's see. We could just go Goff passing yards. It's kind of vanilla, but I don't have a great sense as to who's going to get what. I just think it's going to be a very efficient offense. 250.5 feels very doable for Jared Goff. I know it's not the sexiest entry, but
what do you think about Tony Pollard playing? Oh, they don't have Tony Pollard receiving. Never mind. We were gonna. Let's see. What else could we do? We could also.
I mean, I love Kenneth Walker in that. In that Falcons game, because I think if Kenneth Walker doesn't have a good game, I think we're in.
What
trouble.
Do you want to play? The rushing yards, the total yards?
I don't know. I'll leave it up to you if you think he's going to get involved in the passing game.
Let's play the rushing yards.
66.5 rushing yards higher for Kenneth Walker. Feels like a pretty good matchup there. So getting that guy in. What's another one? What's another one you're looking to play here, Ryan?
All right, let's go to Green Bay. I think Houston is going to make it tough for them to run the ball. So let's do the Josh Jacobs lower rushing yards.
Josh Jacobs lower. All right. I'm with you. Even though I'm on Green Bay, I think they're going to get it done in the air. So Josh Jacobs lower 60.5 rushing yards. Kenneth Walker K9 higher 66.5. A nice little entry in over there. Maybe use a little profit boost, Ryan.
Okay. I was just I had a special WNBA profit boost. That's why the show started late. I had to sweat that one out.
UnderdogFantasy.com promo code SGPN.
All right, game number 7 early. It's the Eagles and the Giants. Very
rivalry week. I see you're not wearing any Giants gear.
Feels a little somber with the news of Andrew Thomas going out and the Giants season being ruined once again. But Sean, what has happened here? Everyone's betting the Giants. They're +3.
Yeah, it's
plus
great.
142 on the money line.
They're the public side.
Minus 160.
Well, the Eagles cannot be the public side.
I'm going off of the Visa numbers.
That's something.
The Eagles are the public side.
Fishy.
Minus 168.
Why is it moving then?
43.5 is the total. Well, it's the big bets, as you know, not just the number of bets. Sean, this is not your first time. All right, so
Terrell Furman, I saw, said Giants were tanking.
He said that when he saw that Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns were out of practice today, but those turned out to be vet rest days, and Burns and Lawrence will be playing. But the big news that I don't think people realize is as big as it is Andrew Thomas out for the season.
I've listened to a number of gambling shows.
No one
even shows that do rundowns, highlighting the injury news and market stuff. And I feel like we're the only show that pointed out, hey, Andrew Thomas, the left tackle for the Giants, out for the season. That's a huge swing in this.
How
game.
many points do you think Andrew Thomas is worth on the line?
I mean, probably now I would grade it as a 1.5 point move. Now I'm sure the market wouldn't say that, but
7 points are the splits with him in and out of the lineup.
Yes.
Now, granted, the offensive line is in a better place this year than it's been in years past. For example, last year. But here's what they're going to try to do. They want to keep the right tackle in place because he's been playing really well, which means they're going to put Josh Azudu at left tackle. Josh Azudu is the guy that caused Daniel Jones to go out for the season last year. When he played so poorly that he got Daniel Jones knocked out of the game and then was seen crying at his locker after the game, which is generally
Does
something.
he have that dog mentality?
Well, generally that's something that happens when you're a broken man.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to see people coming in on the Giants. Do they not realize the offense is completely changing? I get it. Neighbors is back. That's going to be helpful. Oh, he's back. No,
well, there is
what?
There's a Travis Scott concert in Australia, so he may be making the trip down under. G'day, mate. It's me, Malik Neighbors. Gonna catch me a music.
I could see him catching a boomerang with his teeth. I
think he has a grill.
So Neighbors back in. That's positive. Maybe Devin Singletary back in. I don't think that's pretty neutral. Tyrone Tracy might be better. But the offense is going to have to change what they're doing because Andrew Thomas is out. Now, I don't think the Eagles have the edge rush that they've had in years past. So do I trust Dable to scheme something up here? Maybe. Do I trust that Dable can scheme something up against this horrible Vic Fangio defense so far this year? Yeah, maybe. Do I think the Giants defensive line can have their way with the Eagles offensive line? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
do I think the reports of Jalen Hurts not understanding the offense and them having to dumb it down over the bye week, does that tickle me and maybe not have nothing to do with the handicap of this game? Yeah, maybe.
No, I mean, if you're a tabloid reader like Ryan, you would say, "Oh, Nick Sirianni, he shaved his head. He's gone crazy."
To be fair, you brought that up, not me.
No, everyone's saying, "Oh, he's gone crazy." Well, you know what? You know who else shaved their head? Old Sean Green. I stand with you, Nick Sirianni. I support Nick Sirianni. The guy's won a shit ton of games, and he's pretty good against the New York Giants. Oh, Ryan, are you going to decide to put your Giants gear on? I'll tell you this: Braden Graham's going to have a hell of a game with no Andrew Thomas out there. Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, yeah, they'll play, but are they 100%? No. And we haven't even mentioned Saquon Barkley, a guy who's averaging 1.5 rushing yards over expectation this season. A rejuvenated Saquon Barkley. If there's any game he had circled, it certainly was this. The guy will get up for this game.
Not
Saquon
true.
Barkley.
He said he's moved past it already.
Yeah, obviously he's bullshitting.
Okay.
I'm Ryan. I don't know if you know, sometimes guys say things in the press that they don't actually mean.
He's very sensitive. We'll see if he can handle
the interesting play for me props wise is Grant Calcaterra. I think he's actually going to have a really good game. Dallas Goedert is out, and Jordan Mailata, the Eagles left tackle, is out. So
dueling left tackles being out,
I think certainly could be a problem. But ultimately, when the Eagles have AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, and Lane Johnson healthy, they're able to move the ball consistently, and they're a tough out. I think the Eagles get this done. I think they're able to move the ball on the Giants defense. What are you laughing? You're laughing? Are you going to be laughing? I do think my white head adjusted the lighting in the room, as Macon Bacon pointed out. Favorite New Zealand butcher. Shout out to Macon Bacon. Macon Bacon, we have to give your New Zealand butcher shop a plug. But Ryan, yes, my white head maybe adjusted the white balance. The Eagles are going to get it done. I feel very confident about this team. And I know everyone says, oh, he's crazy, he's yelling at the fans. The players like that. They like an emotional, passionate Nick Sirianni. They hate us because they ain't us. Like I think this team feels a back against the wall situation, and they're great in revenge spots. They're going to have their revenge come Sunday. Eagles roll, baby.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting handicap. The fact that Andrew Thomas is out is a big problem.
Yeah,
but I do think the Giants defense could have some success. I mean, they did just go. You want to talk about the Eagles offense? I mean, they have similar weapons as the Bengals, and I think the Giants just showed the world that they were able to slow that down. So, Terrell, we are screwed, but Giants beat the Eagles with Tommy DeVito. Maybe. Actually, you know what? I'll just say this.
Is Tommy DeVito starting?
Brian Dable does his best coaching work in games like this.
Games where he loses. But everyone's like, wow, he looked pretty good there.
I just don't. I don't. This Eagles team is not scary like they have been in years past. There's something off about it. You can say it's not about the coach. You can say it's not about the defense, the new defensive coordinator. You can say it's not about the new offensive coordinator. But I would say all these things that were looked at as positives going into the season have not shown up to be positives yet.
AJ Brown, positive.
AJ Brown,
Saquon Barkley, positive.
Saquon Barkley,
Devonta Smith,
very
positive.
sensitive, and is going to have a hard time going back into this building to play this game. Give me the Giants against my will.
Wow,
plus the points.
Wow, surprising, Ryan.
But if Josh Azudu is really bad, I'll Benedict this immediately.
In game
swapperoo. Number 1 sack rate in the league. Let's fucking go against the bad offensive line for the Eagles.
The offensive line is not bad. Yeah,
25th in adjusted sack rate on
when Lane Johnson is out, they are bad. When Lane Johnson's healthy, they're good.
Well, we'll see how they are without Mailata.
Fred Johnson, I think, is actually a pretty decent replacement.
Yeah.
I'm
actually focused in on the Dexter Lawrence versus not Jason Kelsey.
Okay.
The only guy who could ever stop him. So, all right. Oh, like I said, Sean, we only got 3 games here on the late window. God's eye will be probably getting distracted with some ponies or something else. First game, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Los Angeles Rams. I wonder if the Raiders fans will show up to cheer on their team in Los Angeles.
Raiders.
Rams are the public side, getting 77% of the bets so far. Minus 310 on the money line. 43.5 is the total. Rams off the bye, McVay off the bye, but they are looking ahead to that same. Interesting that both bye teams have a Thursday night game next week against each other, or 2 of the bye teams. It doesn't Cooper Kupp not gonna make his return. It seems.
I don't know.
There's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, McVay's saying he's trending in the right direction. If I had to make a guess, I would say they hold him 1 more week, but certainly it's in the possibility. Like, he's getting in limited practices, so I wouldn't say it's completely off the. It's not impossible, and I feel way less confident on ruling guys in or out on Wednesday night than I have in previous years because of the shenanigans. So I think there's a chance Cooper Kupp plays.
Okay.
To me, it starts with the coaching matchup. Sean McVay with 2 weeks to prepare against Antonio Pierce. Love that matchup.
But now they got rid of that cancer Devante Adams.
Yeah, who wasn't playing, and Antonio Pierce looks like a total asshole, saying, "Oh, he's a Raider. He's always going to be a Raider." Like, dude, come on. You don't have to say anything. Very, very weird situation.
He was always a Raider. Okay.
Now, Raiders just got their shit kind of pushed in by the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers offense looked good against this Raiders defense, and we know how much the Steelers offense has struggled. I think you're going to be able to run the ball against the Raiders. I mean, obviously massive coaching, massive quarterback advantage. The one, and Jacoby Myers is dealing with an ankle issue, DNP.
Which is huge because he's like that's a piece they could use.
Yeah, because the Rams aren't great on defense. So if you're scared to lay a big number with defensive issues like the Rams have, I understand that. But I think, and as far as the Raiders, like the one matchup I do love for them is Brock Bowers against the Rams. Brock Bowers has looked awesome, but also Rams horrible against the tight end. Certainly Brock Bowers, 2 touchdowns in play.
Boy, he's looked good.
He's looked very good. The only concern is like who else is moving the ball for this Raiders team. Aiden O'Connell on the road. That doesn't feel very good. I don't love laying the Rams 6.5, but it's just such a massive coaching advantage here for a team that like really can't look ahead to Thursday. They're desperate for a win. I'm going to take the Rams here.
And during this stretch of not being very good, they've kind of moved the ball. It's been the converting to actual points.
They've had some red zone offensive issues and certainly some defensive letdowns, but that Bears game, they certainly had a chance to win that. Like they've had some, that they got blown out by the Cardinals. I don't think that's something that would happen again. That was a weird situation spot for them. I'm taking the Rams. What are you doing, Ryan?
This is a soft spot for the Rams. I like it. I think. To your point, it does feel like we're very close to seeing this Raiders team just completely combust.
It's unraveling. Although the weird thing,
do you think the locker room like viewed the trade of Devante Adams positively or negatively?
I can't imagine it's a positive because.
So we're assuming he wasn't a locker room cancer. We feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
He could have been a can. He's friends with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So there's certainly
they're buddies.
They do make a case for that, but he wasn't around the team at all. So I don't think
Well, he was in the training room.
Yeah,
he's working on that hamstring.
Him not being connected to the team. I think all these guys knew, like, hey, Adams doesn't want to play. Like he was close to getting traded preseason.
Such a weird situation.
Like I don't see this getting rid of Devante Adams out of the building, giving them any sort of bump. I don't think it has a major impact one way or the other, right?
I mean, it's not good for them as a team, but he wasn't playing. So yeah, I don't think there's any direct negative impact. And I'm with you. I don't like laying this big number, but I would imagine even the crappy Rams defense should be able to do some stuff against Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
But they've been pretty bad too. So we'll see. This will go. We'll look back on this one as a pure donkey play if it's not good.
No. And Christian Wilkinson out for the season too.
Yeah, that we mentioned that last week. I mean, that kind of a big deal. They paid big dollars for him to come out and kind of anchor that defensive line. All right, game number 2 in the late window. Why do they keep giving us the Panthers in the late window, Sean? There's only 3 games, and one of them is the Washington Commanders and the Carolina Panthers. Washington, of course, is the public side, laying 8.5 in this spot. Sean, wow, -375 on the money line, +300 for the Panthers. 51.5 is the total. Has this gotten a little too far for you? I'm not a Panthers guy, but my God,
I told myself I wasn't going to bet on the Titans or the Panthers. I told myself I wouldn't do it.
But you, don't you kind of have to? I mean, Washington loses a key piece of the defensive line and Jonathan Allen. Carolina, one of the few things they have, like their offensive line is a strength of this team so far, which is a pretty sad thing to say.
It's a guy who had 6 points against the Falcons. It was painful watching that defense. Is the concern?
Is that the problem?
Now the counter is
will the Commanders have a punter active for this weekend?
Why wouldn't they?
Well, they don't typically. They don't punt against these bad defenses.
Yeah. I would say this: the Commanders have actually done bad against
good teams,
against like top receivers. I think Deontay Johnson could have himself a little bit of a slate. I mean, Washington 10 for 10 on 4th down conversions. At some point, that's got to slow down. I was looking for the numbers. So Chris Godwin 8 for 81 in the touchdown. Mike Evans 5 for 61, 2 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors 10 for 127 in the touchdown. Jamar Chase 6 for 118 and 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers 9 for 132. I think Xavier Legette, who I've been liking, maybe even Deontay Johnson could do well. This obviously is probably another big Zach Ertz week as fun as that is.
How is he still doing stuff? Come on.
I have no idea. But the play for Carolina is they have nothing to lose, completely fast and loose. And you know, that maybe is this a look ahead spot, Ryan, for a guy like Jaden Daniels? I don't know, maybe not as sucked up in the tabloids as Caleb Williams, but
100%.
Is he looking ahead to that Bears game? They just flexed the Eagles Bengals so you could get Bears Commanders, which is certainly hilarious for a lot of reasons. Maybe some bulletin board material for the Eagles and Bengals. But do you think he's maybe looking ahead because they do have the Bears next week?
No.
You don't think he's looking ahead?
No, I mean they just lost the game. They just lost the game against a guy that he's totally not, in Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I don't know. I mean the handicap on this one for me is that I think the Panthers are going to be able to run the ball.
Yeah,
I think the Panthers are going to be able to run the ball like fairly easily. So I just don't know how you're going to get to a place where you're laying 8.5. I get it. They've looked really, really good this year, and I get it. We keep telling ourselves we're not going to fall for the trap and fade them again. But I got to take the Panthers here, Sean.
Any chance they do a late? Hey, all of a sudden, Bryce Young is starting.
I thank you for reminding me because I did write down a quote. Dave Canales on Bryce Young. He said he did a great job in the role of rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels on the scout team, and is really making the Washington offensive concepts come to life in their I mean, what an absolutely. I mean, the amount of shade for you to say that in a why? I mean,
out of your way. It's like one of those.
It's not a nice thing.
Compliments that are just not a compliment.
It's not a compliment.
Max in the chat wants to know Brooks coming back this week. No, I don't think he's ready to go yet. But he started to practice.
His window's activated, which maybe they get a little pop from seeing what kind of athlete he is. But yeah, I think.
All right, I'll take Carolina plus 8.5. Right?
Did I twist your arm into that?
No, I was always going to be on the Panthers, but I pretended like I was a Commanders guy.
All right.
I think this Panthers team can move the ball. And yeah,
they're gonna have to run them. They have to establish the run early.
Their defense does scare me.
Yeah, hopefully they can get up early. The key is to establish.
That did not help them last week.
You're right. Kansas City heads to San Francisco for the certainly the game of the week, Sean.
I don't know. I mean that Vikings. Vikings Lions game is pretty awesome too.
So yeah, it's going to be a good game. But this is a Super Bowl rematch, and the Niners are laying 1.5. Wow, -116 on the money line, -102 for the Chiefs. 47.5 is the total. Chiefs coming off the bye. We know Andy Reid in that situation is gold. Niners are off a long mini bye. They had the Thursday night game last week, Sean.
I mean,
why are the Chiefs dogs?
I don't know, but I have a simple formula. Is Patrick Mahomes a dog?
Yes.
Then yes, I'm going to be betting on him.
You got his record as a dog.
11-1-1 ATS, 10-3 straight up.
Got his record versus the Niners.
I think he's 4-0.
4-0.
Yeah, the 4-0.
And he's a dog.
And he's a dog.
Okay.
I don't
how
get
does
this.
he not win?
I don't get this. I mean, talk to any Niners fans. Where do they struggle? They struggle in red zone defense.
Yeah.
This Chiefs team is awesome at red zone defense.
Yeah.
And they got 2 weeks of 2 weeks to prepare. We saw what 2 weeks to prepare against the 49ers. And that was with Christian McCaffrey. That was when they were firing on all cylinders. Now, certainly from a props perspective, Chiefs are bad against the tight end. So maybe Kittle has a nice game there. And as much as it pains me to say it, Brock Purdy has been playing pretty well. I think if you're talking yourself into the Niners, you look at the year prior when the Eagles pulled out a win against the Chiefs team in their Super Bowl rematch. Certainly they're going to get up for it, but I don't know, man. You're making Mahomes a dog. That to me just feels a little cute.
I mean, I think also you have to. I mean, if you look at Yeah, so I would look at to me, this Chiefs defense. You start there.
Yeah, and I think this Chiefs defense carried the Chiefs last year, but this Chiefs defense I think is better than last year. Like their pass rush is better. They're creating turnovers. I don't have the advanced numbers, but just eye test, this Chiefs defense is better. And if you don't think Andy Reid is going to have some shit to jumpstart that offense coming out of the bye, you don't know ball. I don't know what else to tell you.
So while you could look at a lot of stuff, if you look at the Niners offense, you would see that they're not as efficient in the running game without Christian McCaffrey. Pretty obvious. They've had some other issues. Some of their offensive linemen not very good, but this Chiefs team is the second best team in the NFL against the run, according to DVOA. They're sixth best in line yards. This is
how do you beat the San Francisco, Bobby Slowick type teams? You stuff the run.
You make it so the run game doesn't work because so much of the pass game is predicated off that run game. And so I do think that while it's not going to be because the Chiefs defense gets after the quarterback or causes Brock Purdy to make some mistakes, maybe they do, but I think it starts by them making it impossible to run the ball. And again, why are we playing this game where we get points with Mahomes in a situation where, the one thing I'm scared about is this Niners team clearly.
Oh, they
were looking they weren't looking ahead.
Jordan Mason's banged up, Ryan.
It does sound like he's going to maybe get in there, but again, if they can't run the ball, what's it going to look like? And
Mahomes as a dog, read off the bye. We can just end it there.
Yeah. Although they are playing a team that's getting a little extra rest, but still, to your point, a lot of time to prepare. All right, Sunday Night Football, which I would have not batted an eye if the game we just talked about was Sunday night. But of course, they had to put Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. Steelers at home here, catching 1.5 plus 114 on the money line. Jets minus 134. 38.5 is the total. All right, so we're Mike Tomlin as a dog, Mike Tomlin as a home dog.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin and that defense against this Jets team who has not exactly been able to get the offense going. I know Devante Adams new in town, but is that going to work right away?
Just a pouty Aaron Rodgers.
Are you starting Devante Adams in fantasy if you have him this week? How quick does he get up to speed?
Yeah, he knows all the stuff. I think they're going to get him involved. I think they're going to probably go out of their way to feed him, but yeah, I would probably, Steelers just have such a good defense. I think if you have Devante Adams on your team, you're chomping at the bit to play him. Okay. So I think you probably would end up playing him.
So then on the other side, Mike Tomlin with the tough decision, who to start at quarterback, doesn't seem tough for me. I would stick with Justin Fields, but it does seem like Russ is getting the snaps with the ones.
Yeah. It seems like Russell Wilson's going to start. To me, that's a curious decision, especially the Steelers. Heard our boy Chernoff talking about this angle, Ryan, and I agreed with him because pointing out that the Steelers banged up on the offensive line. I think they're down to their third center. If you're going to be dealing with some pressure from that Jets D line, don't you want to put a mobile quarterback back there?
Yeah, Russ will manifest protection,
which is certainly curious. And to me, a lot of their offense has been from running the football. And Najee Harris, who is banged up, I still think Jaylen Warren is a good replacement for him. So I'm not terribly worried about that. But haven't we seen this a bunch of times where you have a rushing quarterback that ends up helping the running backs as well, right? Because of all those read options, even traditional options, like just the fact that you have to play the quarterback as a runner makes the decisions tougher for the defense and creates opportunities for guys like Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. So when we lose that, I don't know, but now certainly Russ maybe gives you a little bit of a bump in the passing game, but I don't think Fields was doing such a bad job in the passing game. Did get bailed out an interception against the Raiders, but thought he played relatively clean. This to me though, ultimately I'm always going to be on Tomlin as a dog. However, a couple other things worth pointing out. Mike Tomlin versus Jeff Ulbrich. Love that coaching advantage for Mike Tomlin. Love that. And as much
as
Tomlin
knows what an Ulbrich is, I'm working here.
Now, as much as I think the Jets did get a little bit of a bump offensively from the new play caller, they were able to run with Breece Hall. I think they're going to struggle to establish the run against the Steelers team. The stadium is going to be going fucking bananas. And you just have a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers with just the shittiest body language of all time. You've played pickup basketball with guys who are better than some of the other guys. And then if you're not passing it to them, or if you miss a backdoor cut, and then they get real pouty and real weird about who they're sharing the ball with, it throws off the complete flow. And I think if you want to go in and take care of business against the Steelers team, you got to have all your I's dotted, your T's crossed. And I thought the Jets defense kind of was missing some, I think some of the people on the offensive side were probably happy about the new play caller, but I don't know. I think maybe Ulbrich was distracted a little bit with his roles as head coach, and he's still calling defensive play calling. I think that's a bit of a distraction. I do think the defense was a little bit worse against the Bills. Obviously small sample size, but Aaron Rodgers is a pouty bitch, and I'm not going to bet on him.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish Justin Fields would start.
We should have just started with Jets can't stop the run.
Yeah,
Steelers will attempt to run the ball. Also worth noting, Antonio Pierce will be at the game.
I mean, look at Ray Davis.
He looked very physical. Antonio Brown will be at the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, was that according to his Twitter handle?
No, not just his Twitter handle.
Really?
It's being reported because he's going to be there. They're going to have a tailgate set up where you can get paid to vote, or whatever gimmick he's doing to get people to register to vote, Sean. But that means Antonio Brown's in the building.
Shout out to Sharky Waters. Check it in. He likes the it sounds like he likes the Jets, likes the idea of fading Russell Wilson, which I certainly understand that. And he's pointing out, it does seem like maybe Tomlin's being a little stubborn because, hey, he kind of named him the starter and then he lost his job. I'll hold on to this point though.
Tomlin doesn't fuck around though.
Tomlin went out of his way to say we might see both quarterbacks. So if anyone is going to fuck around and pull some chicanery, might be Mike Tomlin.
If I was Mike Tomlin, I would actually you actually are the one guy in the NFL where I'd say, yeah, the 2 quarterback system makes sense. Makes a lot of sense to just make the defense think you're only going to run Justin Fields. And then when he pops that pass, it's even more effective, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see any sort of media of Antonio Brown tailgating with Steelers fans.
Oh my God.
And Sean, did we mention it yet? But we also, I assume you also love putting this into a teaser.
Yes, great teaser leg.
Maybe
I won't tell you any of the other legs.
There's so many good teaser legs this week, though. I feel like I could tease almost everything, and it would just work. All right, like I mentioned, we now have 2 Monday Night Football games to discuss, and
I'm never going to complain about football, but I like the one Monday.
Well, and it's not at the times we've been used to, Sean. The first one, 5:15 on the West Coast, so at least they're not doing that weird early 4:30 start on the West Coast. Bucs plus 3.5 at home, plus 166 on the money line. 49.5 is the total. This is an interesting
fire the cannon
matchup because on one hand, I'm sure you could find a way to convincing yourself that you should take the 3.5 points with the Bucs at home.
Yep.
Against Lamar, a team that they've definitely let some teams come back in it in the second half, which you could close your eyes and see Baker flying in the back door there, no problem. But what I found interesting in looking at this Bucs defense, which I like, right? I in my mind, I'm like, this is a good defense. They've been good against rookies, and they've not really been good in the other games, and so I wonder if they're going to let Lamar and this offense move the ball up and down the field. And if that's the case, will they be able to keep pace, which I think kind of maybe they could.
Yeah. I think Mike Evans coming off his kind of getting worked by Lattimore,
completely worked.
He is going to have an amazing game. Again, Bucs are getting healthy, getting right at the right time. Now you mentioned the Bucs defense. The Bucs defense are kind of intriguing. Now, one of the things they do very well is shut down mobile quarterbacks. If you go back and look at the Todd Bowles defenses versus mobile quarterbacks, part of the reason why Jalen Hurts hasn't been as successful against Tampa Bay as he has other teams is Todd Bowles does a very good job of spying the quarterback, playing the read option stuff, And I think this Bucs defense will be fired up. Now I know Lamar owns the NFC 22-1 straight up, but only 11-1 ATS. I just love the Bucs at home. Baker's passing game. I mean, you got Sean Tucker, Bucky Irving. Like they're really able to move the ball. Kate Otten, I think, could have a decent game. Ravens very bad against tight ends, and this is just, I'm looking to fade a non-conference road favorite here. I understand, Lamar is playing well. I get it. He deserves to be the favorite here, but Baker has a chip on his shoulder. I mean, just watching him watch Mike Tyson come into the ring, I think he is going to be up for this spot. And I know it wasn't a conference game, it wasn't a division game, but I do think that was kind of a get up spot for the Ravens. Now you have this weird trip to Florida before a division game. Now, granted, it's the Browns, but I think this is I think they could look past this Bucs team a little bit, and I love the matchups on both sides of the ball for the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Well, I mean, I know this is prime time, so you're not going to look past it, but the Bucs do have the Falcons for the second time in 3 weeks.
Okay, that's a good counter.
The following week, and over the course of his career, I mean, it's probably a fairly easy thing to say small sample size to, but Lamar has performed well in the state of Florida, a place where he grew up and went to high school.
True.
So we've also learned over the years, Sean, that you lay the 3.5, you don't take it. And like I said, I do not think that the Todd Bowles defense will have the success that you do in this game. And I specifically think that again, we kind of nailed this handicap in the preseason, Sean, as we talked about this Ravens team. They're good in the regular season. Number 1 offense. They're going to keep rolling here. And unfortunately the Bucs have to lose a game or two. And they fall flat in spots where I thought I was going to be on the Bucs. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I would just go back and look at what they did against Jaden Daniels. Now it's easy to counter by saying it's
look what Lamar just did to Jaden Daniels. I mean, he covered the spread.
Okay. But I mean, well, if you want to compare it, the Bucs covered by much more than the
fair.
Than the Ravens did. So I was just more pointing it out as Jaden Daniels in the mix for MVP, favorite for offensive rookie of the year, and Todd Bowles gave him nothing on that Sunday.
Yeah.
So I think that to me is a highlight of how he handles and how he does well
Todd Bowles
against
does
mobile quarterbacks.
Well, he also does well against rookie quarterbs. So there's a little bit of an overlay.
Bo Nix did beat him.
Yeah. Well, that was, I would asterisk that with that was a little bit like the New Orleans spot this week for them, which there was a lot of injuries in that Bucs game. That was one of those injury scheduled losses.
And the Tampa Bay Bucs are healthy.
Yeah, they've gotten healthy. Yeah. But the reason they lost was they were injured. Baltimore also fairly healthy. All right, Monday Night Football game number 2, which they're starting, Sean, only 45 minutes later. This is the new stagger. I don't like this. Like, give me a bigger stagger, right? Like, this isn't even a first half. Chargers on the road to Arizona. I mean, if you haven't watched Harbaugh talk about his heart health,
oh man,
he's very proud of it. Seems to think his cock is working as well as it ever has. I mean, I know he was
that wasn't
saying,
a direct quote, but that was what was implied.
I know he was saying his heart was strong, but he meant his dick worked really well. Plus 2.5 for the Cardinals at home. Plus 116 on the money line. Minus 136 for the Chargers. 43.5 is the total. I mean, the Cardinals defense is just keeps getting worse. They're now missing key pieces to a bad defense.
Yeah. And I mean, this Chargers team, I was super impressed with what they did against the Broncos. Like, and not even, the score, the stats, the numbers. There's just, and we were watching the game with Decker, so maybe my commentary is biased, but I immediately regretted having money on the Broncos because I saw a crisp motherfucking football team. Guy in the YouTube chat makes fun of me for noticing pad level. Pad level is low on this Chargers team. They were wrapping up. They were making clean tackles. What is the Chargers are number 1 in rush defensive EPA. Like, you cannot get the running game going with James Conner. You make Kyler Murray very one-dimensional, and then you take Marvin Harrison Jr., who probably won't play because he got concussed,
Yeah, it sounds like he's not going to play.
No one really comes back 1 week from concussion unless it's an important game.
No, playoffs.
Yeah. And how do you slow down a mobile quarterback? It's with discipline. It's with knowing where you're supposed to be. It's with tackling correctly, setting the edge, like all the basic football stuff he does. And if you don't think coachings matter, just talk to any Chargers fan and go, why is your defense all of a sudden good? Like last year, Ryan, they were just a gutless wad of 11 guys out on the field, and Decker goes, it's basically the same guys, and it's a completely different football team because of one guy, Harbaugh, who's not even seen as like a defensive guy, but he knows ball. I think the Chargers can lean on the run game. Dobbins can pound it down their throat. I just don't think there's going to be much juice in this crowd.
You think the Cardinals fans are already out?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it's and the Chargers being, the defense is. It just seems like everyone's going to have their way with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
unless they randomly get up like it's a divisional game, and I wonder if they're going to get up for this spot.
Now this is a non-conference road favorite, but I
don't think that matters for Harbaugh.
Yeah, I think
every game. He just had a near-death experience.
No, dude, they rally around that shit. Chargers all day.
Yeah. Although you're supposed to take the 2.5, Sean, not lay it.
All right, I get it. Right.
And then we could have said we loved the Cardinals in a teaser leg.
I actually don't love the Cardinals in a teaser leg. I would rather take Chargers at like -8.5 in a pleaser than lay than take 8.5 points with this Cardinals team. This Cardinals team is not afraid to lay down, in my opinion. Ryan, time for the lock, dog, and tease. Brought to you by Rhythm. Just saw a listener in the chat saying he went 5-1 thanks to Rhythm's tools there. It's so fun building your own models. Obviously, great place for props. Like we've been doing well on props this season, Ryan, and I got to shout out to Rhythm. I'd be bullshitting if I said first step, I fire up the Rhythm app, see what Rhythm likes, start working my own system on the back end, and when there's some agreement, we're in harmony. Ryan,
it's a great way to say something smart. Just include back end in your
sounds super official. Then
I was just making some tweaks on the back end.
A lot of people probably think we're crazy for taking the Browns, but my model likes the Browns +5.5, and Rhythm's AI model likes the Browns as well. Maybe AI isn't aware of Deshaun Watson. Either way, 5.5, too many points. sportsgamingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get the 7-day free trial. Try it for a weekend. If you don't like it, it's a free trial. I think you're going to like it. I like it. Use it every day. Breaking down props, sportsgamingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Kramer?
Lock?
Yes. Do you still want to go first?
You want to swap?
Just thinking I've
been on a decent. I mean,
you hit both your locks last week.
But I see a lot of red on your side of the ledger. So why don't we mix it up? Why don't we mix it up?
All right.
Betting's a team game. We learned this from Ben Affleck and Shaq.
Yes. Everyone knows the WinBet commercial you're referencing, which literally no one saw. Ironically,
they would have Googled Ben Affleck, Shaq gambling teamwork.
Lock it up. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers -2.5.
Whoa. That's it. You're just like, I'm invested. I'm watching the games with Decker. I might as well go all in.
It was just such clean football against the sloppy ass team in the Cardinals.
All right.
My other lock.
Number 2.
Other lock. Are you going to get mad at me if I play the Broncos, Ryan? You don't like when I lock up Thursday Night Football.
I don't. You do what you got to do.
It did backfire the last time I did this.
All I'm saying is that I asked. Shout out to Vegas, Maddie.
Yeah,
we asked one question.
I've been good on Thursday night.
One question. Though. Hey, you got any advice to someone who's signing up for the contest for the first time? What was the one bit of advice? Don't play Thursday.
Don't play Thursday night. All right.
But if you want to play it, that's fine with me.
I love this Broncos team. I already bet a bunch of money on it. Fuck it. Broncos -2.5 against
laying 2.5 twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dog. I mean, this could also be a lock, but the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
It's a tiny one.
-102, huh?
All right. Since you're being an asshole, I'll give
you even money on Chiefs.
No, I'll make my lock Kansas City +1.5, and then I'll make my dog
So that's instead of the Broncos.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow,
you wanted to lock up 3 teams from the AFC West.
Yeah, good division. I'll go Tampa Bay Bucs on the money line. Baker gets it done.
Whoa.
166 on the money line. For my tease, let's see. Rams, pick 'em.
Oh.
You don't like that?
That was just a grunt.
Okay.
Just an all time. That's a tough one.
Oh, Buffalo. Yeah. Buffalo -2.5. What could go wrong? And then Steelers up to 7.5. I don't feel the getting cute by playing Wilson. I'm sure I'll be betting on the Steelers, but it doesn't have me as excited about them.
Why not? Tomlin's making the decision, Sean.
Okay.
You don't trust Tomlin?
No, I do.
I won't tell him this, but do you not trust Tomlin?
I trust Tomlin.
Okay.
So what's your lock, dog, and tease, Ryan? What do you got?
Lock number 1, Kansas City.
Okay.
Had to. I mean, how do you not lock this up, Sean?
Yeah, it's very simple.
Lock number 2, give me the Houston Texans. Actually, pause.
Setup.
Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh, I don't
know why you're scared off.
No,
of this.
I guess
I think there's a reasonable version of this where Justin Fields still is not a very good quarterback, and this will be an upgrade.
I love fading the Jets, and I love Tomlin as a dog.
I also like with the circus coming to town, aka Devante Adams. All right, for the dog,
I'm intrigued what you're going to do for your dog.
Houston Texans.
Okay. What's that? 122.
But boy, the Cleveland Browns is just calling to me. Calling to me.
Not me. I don't have to bet on Deshaun Watson.
The last time they lost to the Bengals at home, they didn't win a game the whole season, Sean. They failed to win any games the last time they didn't beat the Bengals at home.
Roger Long pointing out, how can you not like KC +7.5, Steelers +7.5?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not gonna do that because I'm locking those ones up.
Okay.
You know the rules.
Yeah, you don't put the T's in with the locks.
Detroit +7.5.
Oh, Detroit's another team I like.
Buffalo -2.5.
Okay.
Take notes, kids. This is how you fucking build a teaser. Oh boy, I'm boxed in here. Do I possibly take the? I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Give me the Seattle Seahawks +9.
Ooh. Okay. So what do we got?
I'll be honest. I almost went Carolina +14.5, and I said that's stupid.
So we got Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Chargers in our card. What else do we like, Ryan?
Detroit. We both like Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit.
And I think we should play. I think we should play Cleveland.
Really?
Unless you want to play Denver on Thursday night and get weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah, let's get freaky.
I would say Seattle, Buffalo, or Cleveland would be my trifecta if we're not playing Thursday.
Let's play Thursday. Come on.
All right.
Live dangerously, Ryan.
What do you think? What do you think the number is going to be? We're going to have to lay a full 3.
I don't think so. But again, like you said, it doesn't matter. Denver -2.5.
Nothing matters.
Oh wow, be turning nihilist at
no, I don't mean nothing matters. I mean you just can't control it. You know, we're floating through space right now, very fast, very fast.
Woo, ain't smoking my weed.
Denver -2.5, Detroit +1.5, Chargers -2.5, Steelers +1.5, Chiefs +1.5. So no big spreads on the card. All under 3. I like that. Nice lean slate.
Whoa, you didn't mean that.
What do you mean?
So they're gonna pick up the word lean.
Oh, okay.
And it's gonna become a problem.
Sorry. Nice small numbers, both sides, favorites and dogs.
Do we want to remind people how they can report leans?
Yes. If you hear anyone on our network using leans, respond on X with a Leaning Tower Pizza graphic. Tag us. Also acceptable the drink lean. Any graphic related to that. So those are the 2 acceptable options.
Yep. NC Nick already got.
He already got
ratted out. The hockey guys already getting ratted.
We got a lot of eyes and ears.
Come on, guys, do better.
Do better, be better. And Ryan, appreciate everyone who've taken a couple seconds, toss us a nice rating review. Of course, if you listen to the college podcast, we got a bad review because of Colby, so we got to make up ground. And Spotify especially takes 5 seconds to give us 5 stars. We're hanging around the low 20s, 30s. I'm telling you, if we beat Colin Cowherd on the charts, and we were only one spot back. Again, it's a fluid situation. But
hate Colin Cowherd.
If we beat Colin Cowherd, I will release the Second Chance Survivor contest with thousands of dollars in cash prizes.
Isn't it too late in the season,
1,000.
Sean? It'd be way too easy to get to the end of the season.
No, well, there's a couple different ways we could do it. We could do like pick 2 teams, pick ATS. There's some fun ways.
The last man standing style of just a ATS pick every week is fun.
Yes. And of course, Monday, on any Monday, get 15% off in the merch store. Bunch of great stuff over there. Thank you.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
And we'll see you tomorrow afternoon, 2:00 Pacific, for the prop show. Special guest hopping on, gambling Twitter favorite. I'll leave that as the tip. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
Go Giants.
Kramer. Let it ride.